Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're taking a look at every Mario RPG ranked. From Paper Mario to Mario and Luigi, the plucky plumber has seen an extensive library of RPGs. Some are fantastic, while others, well, they're games. They are certainly games. The only RPG we're not considering is the Puzzle & Dragons crossover on 3DS, which was a game. We'll leave it at that. Which Mario RPG is your favorite? Let us know down in the comments and I'll see you there. Let's talk Mario RPGs.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Number 14, Paper Mario Sticker Star. Sticker Star is absolutely, hands down, the weakest of the Mario RPGs. That isn't to say it's a terrible game in general, it's fine as it is, but as a Paper Mario game, it's... What is this, man? The difficulty is inconsistent, the stickers are busted to the point where you can easily and quickly do away with battles with little to no effort, and the toads populate almost the entire world, making every level feel samey. And the backtracking. The never-ending, ham-fisted backtracking. It is by far one of the laziest Mario games ever made, and those who love RPGs have every right to stay away from it. Number 13, Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. A mishmash of Paper Mario and the Mario and Luigi series? It makes sense when you consider both franchises are RPGs, but in terms of aesthetic, it doesn't look right, you know? While Paper Jam did present its own serving of unique ideas that made combat and puzzles entertaining, the biggest flaw was in its own narrative. Nothing interesting truly happens as the worlds collide and characters meet their counterparts. The jokes are all predictable and make the story quite tiring. Of Nintendo's first-party 3DS games, Paper Jam it's alright, but RPGs need a strong narrative for the amount of reading players normally have to do, and this was it was a bit of a slog. Number 12, Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. As the second game of the Mario and Luigi franchise, Partners in Time is a solid sequel. The introduction of new characters and mechanics such as the use of Baby Mario and Baby Luigi bring a fresh approach to the predecessor's formula. However, this new idea also works against itself. Having to jump between two screens to control each duo would get overwhelming at times, at least for those who hadn't grasped the general layout of the Nintendo DS. We aren't saying it's a bad game by any means, it's just, it gets to be a bit too much at times. Number 11, Paper Mario Color Splash. In order to enjoy Color Splash, you kinda have to be in a certain mood. Unlike Sticker Star, Color Splash uses a more familiar format with cards. You know, how many card RPGs have we played? There's a ton of them out there. The use of cards in combat does enforce a little more strategic planning compared to Sticker Star's haphazard setup. And in the overworld, the paint hammer opens up the path for unique puzzles and hidden secrets to uncover. Despite this new take, it still wasn't quite what we were looking for in a new Paper Mario game, especially when the combat gets mundane as quickly as it does here. Number 10, Mario and Luigi Dream Team. We suppose you could say Dream Team is to Mario and Luigi as Color Splash is to Paper Mario. It's not anything super offensive, the writing is witty and charming, the ideas on display are interesting, and the visuals are about as solid as games prior. The only problem here was that Dream Team stepped on its own toes with a heavier focus on platforming puzzles, so much so that it almost detracts from the other aspects of the game. It isn't the best in the franchise, but it really isn't the worst. It's not one that I would say you need to skip entirely. Number 9, Paper Mario: The Origami King. The Origami King is a bit of a weird one. On one hand, you have a Paper Mario game that manages to recapture the wit and goofy charm of older titles. On the other hand, you have gameplay that doesn't really resemble anything remotely close to what the Paper Mario games have been. The Battle Wheel is perhaps one of the most contentious systems within the community. Some argue it's annoying, cumbersome, and kills the pacing of the game. Others find it satisfying once you figure out the different setups you can execute. I am of the latter. In a way, it is a good Paper Mario, it's just not one that we would recommend to new players. Number 8, Super Paper Mario. It's interesting how different Super Paper Mario is compared to both past and future installments. Here, we had a platformer RPG that enforced something similar to your standard action RPG. Defeat enemies in real time to gain XP, thus improving your stats, blah blah blah. The main star here is pretty much the story and the puzzles, which appeal to fans of a certain GameCube classic, which we'll get to in a sec, and it was probably to appeal to them with a little bit of a quiet resentment. Even with all of its odd cogs, Super Paper Mario still managed to become one of the best games on the Wii thanks to its music, writing, and level design. Number 7, Paper Mario. Honestly, the first Paper Mario still holds up today. This birth of a new Mario spin-off franchise showed the world how a Mario RPG could work and how it could open up a whole new audience to the genre. It was simple in its design and storytelling while offering different partners with their own abilities, adding a new layer of depth to exploration and combat. Of course, we cannot forget about that joyous and imaginative score that allowed Paper Mario to resonate with an entire generation of N64 players. It really still holds up today, man. Number 6, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. To think that we live in a world where a Mario and Rabbids crossover exists, and in the same world, it is actually a stellar game. Yes, this tactics RPG is incredibly well made in almost every possible facet. The writing is hilarious, the combat is deep, and the level design makes every fight a challenge. On top of that, the score by Grant Kirkhope is just as spectacular as his previous works, and the Donkey Kong expansion is one of the best expansions we have seen in the gaming industry. Every Switch owner needs to give Kingdom Battle a try if they haven't already. It's one of my favorite games on Switch ever, man. It's great. Number 5, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. The very first Mario and Luigi truly was a triumph in every meaning of the word. Game Boy Advance owners were treated to an RPG that not only presented a new world to explore outside of the Mushroom Kingdom, but an entirely new dynamic between the brothers with the Bros attacks. Consisting of only A and B inputs, players could test their memorization and timing in exchange for higher damage output, encouraging players to learn and master every new Bros attack. It was truly an achievement in RPGs for the GBA, and it helped launch a whole new line of Mario RPGs without simply mimicking Paper Mario's formula. Number 4, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Both of the Mario plus Rabbids games are high up on this list because they absolutely are that good. Sparks of Hope managed to surpass expectations in the most creative ways. Rather than recycle the same tactics format its predecessor utilized, as did several other tactics games, Sparks of Hope employs a new level of challenge by granting players freedom of movement instead of keeping them locked to a grid. The catch is that now you have to be sure of your movements before attacking with your main weapon. And with Sparks offering up different elemental effects, it is vital that you mix and match each character's core abilities with sparks that will complement them. And yes, the challenge is cranked up more for the sequel. Number 3, Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. What can we say about Super Mario RPG that hasn't been said by thousands of folks on the internet already? The pairing between Nintendo and Square was a literal match made in heaven. The imaginative worlds, the basic combat that required timing with attacks to maximize damage, the music that added every area's personality, it all blends together to create one of the absolute best Super Nintendo games of all time. It's only a shame that few can experience this gem today. Why isn't this on Switch Online, huh? Number 2, Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door was that one RPG that every GameCube owner needed to have. Those who played the original Paper Mario could quickly grasp Thousand-Year Door's combat. However, the big attraction was the story. From the eccentric Madame Flurry to the clumsy and dorky Koops the Koopa, Thousand-Year Door brought forth one of the most memorable and well-written casts we had seen from Nintendo. It is no wonder that many are still demanding a Switch port to this day. I am one of them. Why is this not ported to Switch? Why? Number 1, Mario and Luigi: Bowser's Inside Story. Look, it may not be the most popular opinion, but Bowser's Inside Story is absolutely the best of the Mario RPGs. It didn't just come with an engaging story and captivating cast of characters. You need to do a lot more than that. It also took the ideas of Superstar Saga and Partners in Time and expanded upon them with new ideas while reeling back on ones that didn't. On top of that, Bowser's interactions with the outer world opened up the door to some creatively designed puzzles and combat scenarios. Bowser's Inside Story is one of those few RPGs where I would describe it as perfection. I don't like throwing that word around a lot. It is truly one of the best Nintendo DS games you can play.
Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.